What's going on, Laker fans? Welcome into NBA Now from Chat Sports. With you as always, I'm your host, Jimmy Crowther, breaking down all the Los Angeles Lakers news and rumors. Today we're heavy on the rumor side, and we're starting out with Dwyane Wade, formerly of the Miami Heat. Obviously, he spent some time with the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Chicago Bulls. Those are more of his forgettable years, but just retired. However, could there be a way that he ends up in Los Angeles with LeBron James? He may be keeping the door open. Apparently, this is according to Wade himself. He plans to work out with LeBron during games, after games, in workouts, just getting a lift in, whatever it may be. He's going to be active with LeBron, and he says that he is leaving the door open. Now, last year, his year before he retired, obviously it was his farewell tour that he went on with the Miami Heat. If that's what you're into, good for you. But anyway, not my thing. 15 points per game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Look, he was on the decline. There's no doubt about that. But I truly believe that if Dwyane Wade wanted to play another year in the NBA, he easily could have done it this year. I mean, those are pretty good numbers on a team in Miami that was competitive for that 8 seed in the Eastern Conference. They could have had that last playoff spot. Obviously, it didn't happen. But let's remember, not too long ago, Dwyane Wade and LeBron James already played together. I mean, they were in Miami, and they had an incredible run. Obviously, it was the first real big three, that first super team that came out, unless you consider the Boston Celtics back in the day. But look, Dwyane Wade and LeBron were unstoppable. LeBron 26.9 points per game. Wade 22.2, 5 rebounds and 8 rebounds from Braun. 4, maybe even they're closer to 5 assists for Wade, 7 assists for LeBron James. Both shooting the ball pretty well. Wade's never been a great three-point shooter, but the field goal percentage was there. And those two were just a dynamic duo. So could it be possible that they end up back together in Los Angeles? Obviously, they're buddy-buddy, but here's what Wade said himself to the LA Times, obviously a Los Angeles newspaper. So he said, "I'm done," referring to retirement, "but my trainer is going to keep me in shape just in case something happens. I'm going to stay in shape because you never know. Never say never." Now, Dwyane Wade is retired. Most retired players stay retired unless you're Magic or Michael Jordan or a couple other guys I guess have come out and been successful. But maybe Wade could do it, and maybe the Los Angeles Lakers make sense. Now, their bench next year, the Lakers at least, it's pretty solid. I mean, they've got a really good bench. These are their top 5 off-the-bench guys with Avery Bradley, JaVale McGee, assuming he doesn't start, Kyle Kuzma, assuming he doesn't start as well, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and Quinn Cook. But, if you can put Dwyane Wade in there and he can be, even as effective as he was last year in Miami, I think you could take Kentavious Caldwell-Pope out of there. Maybe Avery Bradley doesn't look as good as people expect. Whatever it may be, Dwyane Wade could make some sense in Los Angeles off the bench. Not going to have a super important role. He's not Miami Heat Dwyane Wade of old. But maybe he could come in and be a solid boost off the bench for the Lakers. And so this got me thinking, because if retired players could just come out whenever they want, that would be exciting. I'd want to see a lot of guys that are retired right now come back into the NBA. But if you could bring one player out of retirement and play in today's NBA, who would it be? Let me know in the comment section. It's pretty easy for me. I'm a diehard Dirk fan. He just left. I would have loved to see him back again this year. So I know he just retired, but I'd bring him back. But hey, maybe Dwyane Wade will be the next one to do it in Los Angeles. Now let's move on to Kyle Kuzma. I think people expect him to take a big step forward this year. He's kind of supposed to be that third star next to Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Now, he's not a star yet, but he is a great player. And there are a lot of people that think he's going to take that next step forward, including Kobe Bryant. Look, Kyle Kuzma has become a key part of LA's core, and really he's a building block for the future as well. He can play either forward position, small forward, power forward. He can't really guard the power forwards, but he's better suited at that 4 role on the offensive end. And like I said, he just received some really high praise from a Laker legend in Kobe Bryant. Here's what Kobe had to say about Kyle Kuzma. He was basically asked, why do you think Kyle Kuzma was untouchable this summer? Because he's one of the few Lakers that did not get traded in that Anthony Davis trade. Here's what Kobe had to say. this includes offensively and defensively. Defensively, he has the potential to be a great defensive player. Kobe used the word defense a lot in there. But anyway, he said, so I think that's one thing they looked at, that they being the Lakers, as well as his shooting ability and his size. I think you put all that in the pot, and it made him indispensable for this summer. And I agree. I mean, Kyle Kuzma has become a key cog in the offense. He, like Kobe said, is becoming a better defensive player. Not quite there yet. He can't really guard the fours. He's a little slower to guard the threes, but he can get there. He's got the size. He's got the length. Now, last year, Kuzma had a great year. Now, the numbers are a little bit inflated because the Lakers were obviously bad. Kuzma was getting a lot of minutes. But 18.7 points per game is no joke. I'd expect that to drop down to about 15 or 16 with AD coming in. But the efficiency is going to go way, way up for Kuzma. Now, three-point percentage, that's where he's got to work on his shot, his efficiency, his consistency, because he only shot 30.3%. So if Kuzma can become a better three-point shooter and a really, really great defensive player, you got to think that he's in this crunch time lineup for the Los Angeles Lakers. Obviously, this isn't the starting five. This is, hey, when we got to win a game, it's the last 2 minutes. This is who we want in. LeBron James, Danny Green, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Kyle Kuzma, and Anthony Davis. Now, I know what you're thinking. KCP, not really on the same level as these other guys, but you got to have somebody else that can guard wings. That's what KCP can do. And, I mean, he's good enough on the offensive end as well. Then you got Kuzma at the 4. And look, AD just sucks it up and he plays the 5 because in crunch time, it doesn't really matter that much. You just got to have your best players on the floor. That's where Kuzma's going to be. If defensively, he can step up, and I think he will. Now, here's a big burning question that I've had since the beginning of the offseason. I still don't know what his role is here in LA, whether it's a six-man role or starting position. But what do you guys think? Should Kyle Kuzma start in Los Angeles next season, or should he be the sixth man? If you think he should start, just type S. If you think he should be the sixth man, type 6. I personally think he should be the sixth man because you've got to have a solid, consistent player off the bench. That's what Kuzma is. You got guys like Quinn Cook, like JaVale McGee, other guys coming off the bench like Avery Bradley. You don't know what you're going to get from those guys. Kyle Kuzma, you know what you are going to get. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Now, Laker fans, it was the first weekend of the NFL this past weekend, and I got to watch it without commercials thanks to my TV choice. And if you want to know how, here's what you got to do. chatsports.com/mytv. Go open up a new tab. I'll give you a minute. There you go. Hit the new tab. Type it in. chatsports.com/mytv. Download the MyTV Choice app. And instead of all the boring commercials throughout every NFL or even college football game, and once NBA season rolls around, you can watch awesome Chat Sports videos throughout the commercial break. And then they'll get you right back to the game. Go download MyTV Choice. We got one more little rumor I want to talk about, and really it's more of me debunking a rumor here. Josh Hart returning to the Los Angeles Lakers. This just popped up on my newsfeed today, and I had to address it because it's crap. But we're going to get into why it's crap in a minute. Let me talk about Josh Hart for a second. Obviously, traded to the New Orleans Pelicans this past summer in the Anthony Davis trade. In all honesty, from an outsider's perspective, I thought Josh Hart would be one of the guys they held on to. I think he's a consistent player off the bench, but you got to do what you got to do to get Anthony Davis. And then just recently, Josh Hart went on Twitter and he ranted about how he didn't know the trade was going down. He heard about it through Twitter. He didn't even get a phone call from the Lakers until after the news broke on social media. He wasn't happy about that. Now, last season, Josh Hart had a pretty good year. The numbers don't really jump out to you because Josh Hart's more of just a, hey, I'm going to go out there and play my role and play it well. 7.8 points per game, 1.4 assists, 3.7 rebounds, 33.6% from 3 last year. I don't think that really speaks to how good of a three-point shooter he is because I think Josh Hart's really, really good at shooting the three ball. I think he'll be better than his percentage showed. Now, let's get into why this report, air quotes here, if you can see me doing the air quotes, is crap. This is from a site called Hip Toro. And if you're a part of Hip Toro, I'd like you to reach out to me and tell me what you were thinking on this one. Here's what they said. This is based solely off of Josh Hart's rant on Twitter. Hip Toro decided to say, the player being Josh Hart, got to know his new team destination from Twitter, and it was kind of insulting. Hart doesn't want to play in the Pelicans team and come back to the Lakers very soon. Now, first of all, if you've ever taken an English class in your entire life, you know there are a lot of issues in that sentence or two. But second of all, that's crap. Hart never said he didn't want to play for the Lakers, or didn't want to play for the Pelicans, and he never said he wanted to go back to Los Angeles. He said he was mad about how he heard about the trade. So, I'm here to tell you, Laker fans, Josh Hart does not want to come back to LA. Hip Toro is not a reliable news source, and they need to work on their grammar. Now, let's move away from the crap report and just focus on the Pelicans for a second, because Josh Hart's not going to start on this team. This team's got a solid starting five. It's Lonzo Ball, Drew Holiday, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, and Derek Favors. However, they need a sixth man, and they've probably got two, JJ Redick and Josh Hart. Hart maybe could play more of the point position. I know he's kind of a two guard, but I think you could play him at the point next to JJ Redick. Then you also got guys like Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Does he beat Josh Hart out of a spot? I don't know. Now, I will say this. The Pelicans have a team option on Hart, but this next summer. But there's no reason for them to decline it because it's such a cheap contract. So Hart ain't coming back to the Lakers. I'm telling you that right now. But I got to ask the question. Would you want him back? If he wanted to come back, would you bring him back to LA? Type Y for yes. Type in for no. They obviously don't need him right now. But if he wanted to come back, maybe the Lakers would welcome him with open arms.